This lecture number 8 is a difficult one. Not a surprise. Thinking is not easy to understand. Technology is not easy to understand. So when you try to analyze the impact on one on the other, not a surprise, it's difficult. So probably it's a good moment to make a recap. The whole MOOC is based on one question: how do we think? So let's summarize what we saw together. So to make a very long story short, the world in front of you, simplification within you, with the two directions. From the world, we make simplification and we come with theories, ideas, hypotheses, concepts, etc. And out of those hypotheses, we can deduce lots of things to change the world. Now, when you look at this is not new for you. I think we saw that during lecture 2. But when you look at this and you think in terms of technology, in the end, what is changed? Probably on your side, very little. I'm not sure we think very differently compared to our parents or grandparents. But in front of you, of course, it has changed a lot. But we still face big issue. Remember, look at this painting. Probably it's connected to what you saw 15 minutes ago. You find again the Kepler, Darwin, and Champollion and others. You can organize the 15 I show in different way. You can have the discoverer on one side, inventors on the other side. You can have people with a concept a priori like Kepler and France, other who really conceptualize on a very different way, Darwin and France. So it's a good way to see how it happened. Whatever happened, big data is a big thing. But remember what I said 5 minutes ago. Big data, is it the good way to name what's happening? I don't think so. It's a bit like low cost. When you have the low cost airline, it's not a good denomination because it looks like simply the cost is a bit low. Absolutely not. Low cost airline is a new way to think about airlines and planes and travel. Exactly the same. Big data is not the right way to call what's happening now. We should find something new and maybe it's a good exercise, but big data is really big. We go through a threshold, really. Just an anecdote, but to me it's really interesting because I study mathematics. A teacher of mathematics 200 years ago, just to teach at the university, was supposed to know the entire world of mathematics. Today, when I talk to teachers, they say 2, 3, 4%, doesn't matter. So a teacher is more or less the same. So it looks like the volume has exploded. And of course, you cannot do today the way you used 200 years ago. You have to find new ways to teach mathematics. It's exactly the same here. You have to find new way to think about what's happening. When you look at technology, in fact, it has an impact on the most fundamental philosophical issues, concepts. Do we still need concept with technology? The answer is yes, because a machine cannot conceptualize. Do we still have to know causes? Maybe less than before, and we saw correlation can help a bit. But not only concept and causes, like identity. The identity, one of the most fundamental concepts in philosophy. What's the identity today? You have like the avatar and things like that. So what's the identity? What's friendship? What is friendship? I don't know, but when you look at what's happening on a Facebook, friendship is not what it used to be, etc., etc. And always have like this way to work between a look at the world, what's happening, and also at the same time looking backwards. Let's talk about knowledge. where and how can we build a knowledge? The very first person to answer the question was 500 years ago. It's Bacon, philosopher Bacon. And in fact, he said you have 3 ways to build knowledge. And Bacon is important for us because he's really the first philosopher who decided to apply philosophy to science, industry, and well, eventually business. But he looked for an applied philosophy. That's why Bacon is so important. And when Bacon was asked about the foundations of knowledge, how can we build knowledge, he had this answer. It's a beautiful metaphor. He said, finally, you have like 3 types of approaches. You can have, and I'll show you immediately the first one, it's like an ant. It's on the right side of the drawing. It's the teacher, the scientist, who collects facts and data, but he doesn't have big ideas. I don't think we should be ants. Bacon said there is another type of teacher, the spider. And spider teachers are teachers who believe they can create knowledge just out of their minds. We call that sometimes rationalist. And the first one, the ants, called empiricists, but it's not too important. So I don't think we should be spider as well, because a spider doesn't build his knowledge on reality. And according to Bacon, there is the third type, a third profile, the bee. The bee is interesting, and I'm convinced we should become bees, moving from one side to the other, and on one hand going everywhere trying to collect things, but then on the other side building honey and think like theory. It's a beautiful metaphor. And what's interesting, it is still valid. Whatever happens on big data, internet, etc., doesn't change the metaphor. We still need bee, and part of the bee cannot be on a machine. It's human by definition, like you and me. So just to close this 8th lecture, I would say this: a bulldozer has no idea. A coffee machine has no idea. A gearbox has no idea. Let's tell this way: internet, big data don't have any idea either.